Manny Pacquiao's shocking return to boxing at the age of 46 has reignited excitement and curiosity around the world. While many fans are thrilled to see the Filipino legend back in action, facing Mario Barrios on July 19th, others are left wondering, what has driven Pacquiao to step into the ring again at this stage in his life? The announcement alone would have been enough to grab headlines, but it was a recent interview on the George Janko show that truly stole the spotlight. In it, Pacquiao revealed a stunning secret from his early career, one that shows just how far he was willing to go to chase his dream. During the interview, which featured Janko and his wife Shauna, Pacquiao slowly opened up as he reflected on his early days in the sport. When asked how he started his professional boxing career so young, Pacquiao didn't shy away from telling the truth. He explained that he began amateur boxing at just 12 years old with the dream of representing the Philippines in the Olympics. He fought hard for a place on the national team, even defeating a rival who was also in contention. But despite winning the bout, it was that same opponent who lost who ended up making the team instead of him. That moment of injustice deeply frustrated Pacquiao, and it was the turning point where he decided he would no longer waste time in the amateur system. At just 16 years old, he approached his coach, known as Mambo, and told him he wanted to go professional. But there was a catch: the minimum age to become a pro boxer was 18. His coach reminded him of the rule, but Pacquiao wasn't going to let bureaucracy get in the way of his goals. He suggested simply lying about his age. His coach, though hesitant, didn't completely shut it down. Back in the mid-90s, there was no digital infrastructure, no email, no online databases, no instant ID checks. So the idea of bending the rules with a delayed birth certificate wasn't just risky, it was plausible. Pacquiao explained that, because there was no quick communication system, he asked to send the required documents later after the fight. He convinced officials that the papers were on their way and bought himself time. What's even more remarkable is that on fight day, he was so underweight for his division that he placed metal weights in his pockets to make the official limit. That level of dedication and desperation reveals just how far he was willing to go for a shot at greatness. He debuted against Edmondenting Ignacio, and despite all the uncertainty around his legitimacy as a fighter, he won the match in dominant fashion by unanimous decision in the 4th round. The fight was so impressive that no one bothered asking for the paperwork afterward. His performance was all the proof anyone needed that he belonged in the ring, even if he technically shouldn't have been there yet. From that day on, Pacquiao's career took off. That single bout marked the beginning of one of boxing's greatest stories: a kid with no connections, no money, and a borrowed age on paper, rising to become a world champion across 8 weight classes. It's the kind of tale that feels like a movie, but for Manny, it was just survival. A choice made from hunger, passion, and an unbreakable belief in his own destiny. This confession sheds light on the rough, risky road Pacquiao took just to get noticed. It wasn't talent alone that brought him to the world stage. It was grit, hustle, and a refusal to take no for an answer. Now, decades later, he's proven everything there is to prove. He's fought legends, won titles, and earned global respect. But this small detail, this secret from his teenage years, adds a whole new layer to his myth. It wasn't just that Pacquiao was talented. He was relentless, even when the system wasn't built for someone like him. And now, as he prepares to lace up his gloves again, fans are being reminded of the fire that started it all. At 46, most fighters are either long retired or well past their prime. But Manny has always defied expectations. He turned professional under impossible conditions. He beat the odds every step of the way. And now, as he gears up for another fight, he carries with him not just the experience of a veteran, but the heart of the hungry kid who tricked the system just to get in the ring. This fight against Mario Barrios isn't just a comeback. It's a full circle moment, a return to where it all began, powered by the same fearless spirit that first launched him into the spotlight. That first fight at just 16 years old wasn't just a beginning, it was a quiet rebellion. Manny Pacquiao didn't wait for the system to validate him. He outmaneuvered it. Most teenagers at that age are still figuring out what they want to do with their lives. Manny had already taken a professional fight, put weights in his pockets to qualify, and fooled boxing officials, all while carrying the pressure of providing for his family. He wasn't just chasing a dream. He was running from poverty, from hopelessness, and toward a future he could barely imagine. That level of mental toughness is what has always separated Pacquiao from the rest. Long before the belts, the crowds, and the billions of pesos earned, he was simply trying to survive. Each time he stepped into the ring, it wasn't about fame. It was about proving again and again that he belonged. His ability to thrive in chaos, to take risks that would terrify others, has defined his career. And even now, that same fearlessness drives him, because this comeback isn't for money or legacy. It's a reminder of who he is. The story also serves as a reminder of how much boxing has changed. In today's highly regulated world, with real-time databases, biometric checks, and digital systems, a 16-year-old lying about his age wouldn't even make it past the first form. Pacquiao's rise was born in a more rugged era, where hustling your way through the cracks was still possible. That doesn't make his journey less legitimate, it makes it more legendary. He built his foundation on uncertainty and turned it into an empire. Not many can say that. His return now also feels poetic. He isn't chasing titles. He's chasing closure. There's something deeply emotional about seeing a fighter come full circle, especially one like Pacquiao, who has given so much of himself to the sport. He could have stayed retired, continued his work in politics, or enjoyed the fruits of his labor. But there's still something left in him, not necessarily to prove, but to express. A final statement, a closing chapter written on his own terms, and perhaps even a reminder that legends don't fade, they echo. So when Manny Pacquiao steps back into the ring this July, it won't just be another match. It'll be the continuation of a story that started with a quiet lie, a big heart, and an unstoppable will. Every jab, every step, every bell will carry decades of history. And whether he wins or loses, one thing is clear: Pacquiao was never just a fighter. He was a force, a fighter forged not just in sweat and blood, but in grit, courage, and an unwavering belief that he could write his own future, no matter the rules. Manny Pacquiao's comeback is more than just another fight, it's a living tribute to the path he carved from nothing. From sneaking his way into the pro ranks at 16 to becoming an icon of the sport, Pacquiao's journey is the kind of story that doesn't need embellishment. It's raw, it's real, and it reminds the world that greatness doesn't always come dressed in rules. It often comes wrapped in rebellion, sacrifice, and heart. As he prepares to step back into the ring at 46, he's carrying with him not just gloves and muscle, but decades of grit, sacrifice, and the weight of a nation's hopes. It's not about revenge or records anymore. It's about honoring where it all began, and maybe giving fans one last reason to believe in miracles. In a sport full of scripted showdowns and hipped-up comebacks, this one feels different. It feels earned. Pacquiao's return isn't just a flash of nostalgia, it's a reminder of why we fell in love with boxing in the first place. A story of courage over comfort, of hunger over hype, of a boy who refused to wait for permission and instead kicked down the doors of history. And whether this next chapter ends in victory or simply closure, one thing is certain: when Manny fights, the whole world watches, not just for the punches, but for the purpose behind them.